Today from r/just no mother-in-law. Mother-in-law kicks our dog. We kick her out of the house. Today my mother-in-law was over, and as always, she started talking about children. We're married for 8 years now, but we don't have children because we don't want them. And mother-in-law has a hard time to wrap her head around it. She started to wail that we're going to be too old soon. We're both 30. And I kind of feel she thinks our dog has the fault in it. I think she sees our dog as some kind of hindrance that prevents us from having children, because sometimes she says something like, if you didn't have that dog, you could have children more safely. Or, so weird you care so much about that animal, but don't even think about having your own child. Our German Shepherd is 14 years old now. Of course, my husband and me, we realize that his life is coming to an end, and it's really hard because he's been my dog since I was a teenager, and my husband has come to love him even more. He's like a child to us, and it's very difficult to say goodbye. He doesn't have any terminal illnesses though, and the vet said that as long as he's still eating, drinking, and walking, we don't have to think about putting him down yet. So this time, mother-in-law got upset because we asked her to close this topic once and for all. Whether or not we have children is none of her business, and we're definitely not going to have them just because she wants us to. She went out of the living room and to the foyer to get her jacket that was hanging there on the rack. Between the living room and the foyer, there's this short hallway and our dog was walking there. I went out of the living room just in time to see mother-in-law snarling, "Get out of the way, you dirty mutt," as she kicked him to the side. The dog staggered aside, surprised, as he's never been hit before. Even when he was a puppy and doing all kinds of mischief, we never even physically punished him, and this lady wasn't going to either. So I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why would you kick the dog? Mother-in-law said, well, why is he getting in the way, moving like a snail? I don't have time to stand here forever. Yes, mother-in-law, the dog is slow. It's because he's old and doesn't have the energy anymore to run around all the time. So move your butt around him. Honestly, she could have easily walked past him. The hallway is wide enough. But no, she probably hoped that no one would see her taking her frustration about us not having children out on the dog. I told her that the dog lives in this house and she doesn't. She doesn't have any rights to treat our pet like that. The dog doesn't have any fault in anything. If we wanted to have children, we would have had them regardless of owning a dog. He's not an obstacle, and I told her that if she ever does something like that again, I will rip her head off. My husband didn't see mother-in-law kicking the dog, but he heard the noise and came to see what was going on. And I told him that his mother attacked our dog. First he couldn't believe it, and then he blazed in fury. He was 100% on my side, and told her to leave our house and never come back. He said she'll never step over the doorstep of our house because our dog deserves a peaceful remaining time of his life, and she's a danger to him. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I knew he puts me above his mother, but I never thought he had that much of a spine. Mother-in-law was starting to say something, but my husband dragged her into the foyer. He didn't even let her get dressed. He threw her jacket and her boots out the door. By the way, it had rained shortly before, and the jacket landed in a puddle, and told her to never contact us again. And if we ever decide to have children, she'll never see them. Mother-in-law was offended beyond words. She was like, all because of one dirty, shedding, unsanitary piece of hair. You'll both regret it. Our dog is fine, in case you're wondering. My husband insisted that we go to the vet to make sure mother-in-law didn't cause some internal damage. But everything is okay, as much as it can be at his age. My husband blocked mother-in-law's phone, and looks like he's very serious about going no contact with her, so am I. I will never understand cruelty towards animals.